Good day everyone, my name is Alex and welcome to another action camera review. Today I have the Elecam Explorer Elite action camera. So this camera here can film in 4K and it costs under $80. So we do get a lot of value for that money. This camera here has the Novatek 96660 processor, lots of sixes in there, and also a 12 megapixel Sony sensor camera. So it should do fairly well. I want to start by showing you the box and what comes with it, and then we'll check out the camera. Let's begin. The Explorer Elite comes in a very good looking box, and I have to say that this is probably one of the best looking boxes that I've seen from any action camera from China. On the front of the box we just see some specifications about the camera itself and a picture of it. This camera comes in two colors, either silver or black. As soon as we open the box, we get to the waterproof case and the camera. The waterproof case is like most waterproof cases. It has one purpose and one purpose only: to keep the camera safe. And this waterproof case does that very well. I left the case in the water with the camera in it for about an hour the other day, and no water got into the case. So very straightforward. To open it, you just pull that tab on top, and the same to close it. So a very normal waterproof case. Moving on, we get to the manual. So the manual is very well made, has nice big letters, and it's got very clear instructions on how to use the camera. So I'm very happy with this manual. And aside from the manual, we do find a lot of mounts and straps and zip ties, stickers, and a whole bunch of things that will work with the camera. We even find a mount for a bicycle. So if you want to keep the camera onto a bicycle, you can use that. We found a mount for a tripod, so a whole bunch of stuff. You can pretty much put the camera anywhere you want with the accessories that you'll find in the box. Now the camera itself. So I didn't get that premium feel that I got from the last camera that I tested, that M20. So this one feels a bit cheap. However, the price on this one is cheaper than the other one. So maybe that's why I didn't put that much work into the exterior. On the front of the camera, we just find the power button, and this is also a mode button. Underneath that, we see a 4K logo at 24 frames per second, and we also see the lens. On top of the camera, we just find the OK or the recording button, and there is also an LED right there on top. Onto the right hand side of the camera, we find the microphone on top there, the SD card slot, the HDMI port, and the USB port. And since I'm talking about the USB port, yes, you can use this camera while you are charging it, because I had a couple of people asking that. So you can have this camera charging with the battery pack or whatever and still record with it. On the other side of the camera, we find two buttons, one up, one down, and the speaker. Now, the up button can also turn on the Wi-Fi for the camera, so it's a multi-use button. And lastly, at the bottom of the camera, we find the battery. So you have to remove that battery door in order to access the battery. However, the battery is a 1050 milliamp battery, and it will last for about an hour and 10 minutes filming at 1080p at 60 frames per second. This camera also has a screen. Now, this screen doesn't have the absolute best resolution and not the best viewing angles. This is to be expected because it is a cheap device after all. The screen also doesn't get that bright, so if you do go outside in bright daylight, and I assume that you will be going outside with this camera, you will not be able to see the screen that well. However, you can connect this camera to your smartphone, and you can see the screen much better on a smartphone than this camera. Turning on the camera, it's very straightforward. You just keep the power button pressed for a few seconds, and then you skip through a couple of modes. So if you leave it in the first mode, you're gonna start recording. Second one, you can take pictures, then see whatever you have onto the camera, and eventually go to the menu. The menu has a lot of options. So you can change the resolution of the camera. You can select 4K at 24 frames per second. You can select 1080p at 60 frames per second, 720p at 120 frames per second, HDR, gyro. Speaking about the gyro and the HDR, if you do want the HDR mode on, you have to have the gyro turned off. Now, I'm not sure if that's worth it or not, but I will let you guys decide. I will show you a short clip with the gyro on and with the gyro off. So you can make up your own mind if the gyro is worth losing the HDR over. Aside from that, we can change the picture quality, ISO. We can change pretty much anything that we want, even the field of view. So you can have like 170 degrees or 160 degrees, whatever you guys prefer. Also, this camera has a whole bunch of languages, so you do have the option of choosing different languages from the menu. So depending where you are located, you can just find the language that works best for you. The camera also has a car mode, so what that means, whenever the camera starts charging, it can start recording as well. So imagine you turn on the car, the camera gets power, and then it starts recording. You're done driving, you turn off the car, the camera doesn't get power, and then it stops recording. So it can become a dash cam very, very easily. Before we go any further, I want to show you some sample pictures that I took with this camera. So all the pictures that you're gonna see were taken at the maximum resolution on auto settings. So I didn't change any settings for the pictures. Now the daylight pictures, I think they look appropriate and quite good. I mean, much better than many cameras. The nighttime pictures, unfortunately, they don't look the absolute best. However, that is to be expected because most of these cheap cameras don't do good in low light conditions. So these are all the samples that I took with this camera. So I'm happy to see that a camera like this does quite well for picture taking. The Explorer Elite also has Wi-Fi, so you can connect to it with your smartphone, either Android or iOS, so whatever you have. You have to download the app from the Play Store or the App Store, whatever you have, and then you connect to the Wi-Fi network that the camera makes. As soon as you're connected, you open the app, and all of a sudden everything that the camera sees you can see onto your smartphone. So very straightforward. Into the app there, of course the app is a couple of seconds behind, so if you move the camera, by the time the image shows up onto your phone, it's gonna be like a second or probably less. However, you can start recording from your smartphone, you can change some settings from your smartphone, you can also see whatever you have onto the camera, so you can download the stuff from the camera onto your smartphone if that's how you choose to watch the stuff. So very straightforward and easy to use the app, and the app works about 8-10 meters away from the camera. If you go further than that, you're gonna lose connectivity. So the app seems to do quite fine. And I guess it's time to conclude this video. So for under $80, I think this camera films quite well. I do like that the microphone works decently. Most of the Chinese cameras that I tried, the microphone doesn't work as good. However, this one seems to be rather decent. The footage that you're gonna see next, so you're gonna see some daytime filming, some nighttime filming, some slow motion filming. You can make up your own mind and see if this camera is actually worth it or not. Of course, I left some links in the video description if you wanna check the camera out. If you did enjoy the video, please press the like button, share the video, don't forget to subscribe, and hopefully I will see you in the next video. Enjoy the following footage. Thanks for watching, guys. Well, let's start the sample footage with the microphone test. So I'm about half a meter away from the camera. I believe I'm filming at 1080p 60 frames per second, and the microphone is sitting on the right hand side of the camera. So hopefully you do like how it sounds. I think it sounds much better than most of these action cameras that I've tried. So this is yet another microphone test. The microphone is sitting on the right hand side of the camera, so I'm spinning around a bit and it is a bit windy. So this is how the microphone sounds onto this camera at about half a meter away.